Okay, greetings, patriots, Starseeds light workers, and of course our brave military. Welcome to 1776 United, and we're in a worldwide and galactic revolution. Now, today again is September the 24th. Again, I've been reading some of the comments and stuff like that. Everybody's kind of in sync. Everybody's on the same page there. And I'm getting a little bit of pushback saying, the bills and everything's still coming in and all this other stuff. Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's say, what if, all right? Every corporation on the planet has been manipulated to a point and threatened to a point where they capitulated, because this ecosystem that we live on has been overrun by reptiles for 44,000 years. So they've had 44,000 years to set the stage and program every company, every corporation that we live in, everything. Now let's just say that if you were a head of a corporation, you built this thing out of your garage from a small business, and it started growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm not talking about government. I'm talking about anything, and it gets become a franchise chain, huge. That's going to attract the reptiles, and because you're going to automatically, because you're getting bigger and bigger, your advice from the Jesuit banksters are going to say you should incorporate, you need to incorporate right now. You cannot continue this. You need a line of credit. You need all this other stuff. They're feeding you all the bullshit. Anyways, you submit to it because you just want things to run smoother with your company that you developed and that you nurtured. But then once they basically get you hooked into an incorporation, then they got their claws into you. Then at that point they can say, this is the way you're going to do things. Such as, let's say, McDonald's, right? When I was a kid on Wellington, that was the first McDonald's I had ever seen, and it was on Wellington and Hastings in Burnaby. And back then, the burger was, 25 cents and 30 cents, whatever it was. And you can get out of there with a, chips, burger, and a, milkshake for under $1. What happened to that business? It was a beautiful little business. Everything was fresh. It was good food. You see where I'm going with this? Over the years, they have manipulated it. They have, working with other satanic companies such as Soylent Green, and how it develops. And now they capitulated because they were threatened. All right. Now they're going to capitulate or walk away or just kill the business, or everything's going to go down, because when we do an affidavit against them for what illegal practice that they're doing, that's a threat to them. And what are they going to do? They're going to capitulate because they know that they're doing something illegal. They have been exposed. They have been exposed for all their nasty, evil bullshit that they carried on for years and years, and it's all being exposed now. So why do we continue supporting without putting up any type of resistance? Because we're in a phase or a psychosis of Stockholm Syndrome. We love our captors because it's easy for us to, go with the flow and, just put it out of our mind that this is not the belief system. I don't think it's as bad as we think it is. I don't think that, that you put all these excuses in your head, and or you just outfully say, I don't want to get involved. And yet you're poisoning your children, you're poisoning yourself, and do you think that makes it right? I'll never eat at a restaurant again. No. After the things that I've researched, I'll never eat at a restaurant again, especially fast food. I mean, you don't know what you're getting. And every corporation known to man, it's everything you do. And people say, well, where else can we go? What can we do? I said, well, go start with the farmers markets. Get a hold of your local Amish people, or maybe your local Hutterites that are throughout Canada. Start shopping with farm fresh foods. The local markets is a Sunday, so what makes it a difference that you can shop on a Sunday at the local markets? And at least you know that come locally from that ground where you live. They might put a little bit of spray to it or whatever they're doing, but I think at that point it's not something that is it kills the bugs or whatever. And if they admit to it, you just have to ask them, if have you sprayed this, and what and they say yeah, just say what you spray it with. They'll have to tell you. All right, if they say you don't know, well, then you move on to the next booth. So at least there's somebody there to talk to so you can interrogate them a little bit to make sure that you're getting the right product. Because and the place that the reason why I live in the Philippines for the last 30 years is because that's what it's all about. They don't have a spraying poison issue. It doesn't exist. It was never allowed, and that's why they've been so suppressed in their dollars and their financial markets. And they've resorted to these capitulating, I would say corrupt politicians, and to the point now where the people are rising up. They've had a lot of good things with them. They haven't been charged any tax, right? Let's just think about this for a second. They haven't never been charged really any tax in the Philippines. They've always had 8 organic foods. Yes, it's hard to find a well-paid job, but there's lots of jobs there. Well-paid, that's few and far between. But paid enough to survive on, yes, there. So why are the Filipino rising up and going after the government? Why are they doing that now? Now let me tell you why they're doing it. Because they know how much corrupt and how much corruption is going on between the the leadership, all the way down through the the councilmen and councils of certain counties, and from province to province throughout the Philippines. There's 130 million people there that that are very Catholic, Christian, but they carry a gun. And they're pissed off. They want to get rid of the corruption. They know what's going on. They realize, they're awake. That's why they're rioting in the streets. But, Westerners, because we've been so capitulated and so brainwashed, we basically enjoy our, we seem to enjoy our captors for what they are. They feed us the crumbs just enough to pacify us. That's how it works. But these corporations are, they're not just stealing your country's assets. They're stealing your health. They're stealing your money. They're stealing your mind, your thought process about actually being free. And we have to, and of course they're stealing your children, right? For what? And I mean, how many millions of children that has gone missing? I mean, we're talking millions and millions of children that have gone missing. Okay? Trump's stopping all that, along with Putin and Xi Jinping. It's all coming to an end. Because this planet is full of satanic worshippers that love to do sacrifices on a weekly basis. It's grown to a very, very sick epidemic to this point. And corporations are the ones that run it. The Jesuits, the Ashkenazis, the Khazarian mafias, all from the far old East. I mean, when you look back and you see all these old movies about the Vikings, and they were the pagans doing sacrificial shit and whatever, but it was just the Italians were just as bad. The Orsinis and Rothschilds out of the Jewish end of it, they go back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I mean, so they've had a lot of time throughout their families, their family bloodline, to set up this, this evil empire that they run now, and use us weak-minded people as cattle. And that's the way they believe. They believe that we are dumb and stupid, and we're not. They should have the fear of God in them for what we're capable of doing, and that's all coming out very, very soon. We're waking up to this, and along with the waking up is coming the powers to be. Our old remnants, psychoses is being shaken off, and the more sun that we get, this beautiful sun that we're getting, is opening up our chakras and our pineal glands, and it's bringing awareness to humanity. And this is why you get the fake Bill Gates and all these other Genesis, evil satanic Genesis operating and threatening to block out the sun or do these other heinous acts that they have been operating on. I believe they're caught, they've been captured or whatever, but whoever it is, whether it be the cabal or the white hats or whatever, they're doing the things that they're doing to try to wake up humanity. And all I'm saying is that we've had basically since 2016 to wake up. I mean, if you didn't realize what was going on in the days of 2015 and what Barack Obama was sending, billions and billions of dollars and pallets of money over to Iran, if that didn't wake you up, you were, like I said, living on the other side of the moon. So, and we've had basically 10 years of this bullshit going on, and the truthers out there have been trying to wake up everybody. And there has been a huge following of people out there now that are resonating with the things that myself and other podcasters out there are relaying out, and everybody seems to be wanting to resonate. I get very, very little pushback on a verbal point. They tried their best back in the anywhere for in back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and even 2020, 2021. But for the past couple of 3 years now, they are at a point where they can't do these. They can't fight back because they know that they're the dark entity and people are waking up to their bullshit. So what are they doing? They're trying to steal your money. That's all they got left. All they could do is hide in the shadows again and try to brainwash and fool you to sending them money by trying to set up QFS and XLM or XRP or whatever, and it's all bullshit. Everything's going to be free at the other end. When we go through this, everything's going to be free. So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm here to say the things that I say, to try to wake up the masses and understand exactly what, and be aware of what's going on around you. Anyways, everybody have a great day, and we will see you on the next one.